Well, good evening and welcome to Friday Night Blitz on live stream STL. We are starting a little early here. The St. Vincent Indians are going to be taking on the Jefferson Blue Jays.
Well, you know, it's always a great game for us, the St. Vincent Jefferson game, and I don't know if it's ever classified as a rivalry, but from a football standpoint, we've had some battles with those guys, and I know Coach Schumer does an awesome job with that program down there, and so it's always a dogfight. We know we're gonna get their absolute best, and we got to make sure we have our absolute best because they're a good team. They got some big old boys up front, which they don't always have down there. So I mean, that's something that makes them a little bit different this year, and it makes them very good, very salty.
Snap, drop back. He's got good protection, throws it wide open. He's going to take it all the way in. Touchdown, Weiss. How about that? Landon Weiss. Give him a 10-yard touchdown. And just dances up the middle. Easy touchdown right there by Cruz Reitzel. So 2-yard run.
Got our triple header again. We're at Hillsboro, we're at Crystal City, and right here.
Keeper by Frisk. Breaks out to the right side, left side, down the sideline. Got one man to beat. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Frisk, 43 yards. Buckeye drops back. Good protection. And Wheeler down the sidelines. Did not get nudged out of bounds. And he traipses into the end zone. Touchdown is the signal. 58-yard touchdown. Man in motion. Frisk is going to keep it. And he is thrust forward into the end zone. Touchdown as time expires in the first half. So 1-yard run for Cooper Frisk.
But yeah, I mean, you know, you got to take a look at Jefferson. You hope that they don't end up giving a duplicate of last week. Played a great first half and just got manhandled the second half by a much bigger team in St. Genevieve. St. Vincent, kind of a similar situation. However, I see a really good game plan here on Coach Matt Atlee's part here to, you know, hopefully keep it close. And that's the important part is you got to keep it close here in order to just, you know, say, okay, there's a chance.
Well, maybe they saw something they thought they could exploit.
Yeah.
Drops back, Buckeye slings it, this time over to the right side, and caught, twists into the end zone, touchdown. And just like that, 28-yard strike to Graymon. And they give it to Reitzel, and he falls into the end zone, touchdown. So 4th and goal this time, no kick, they give the touchdown. Frisk. Empty backfield, keeper off the right side, same thing, trying to get to the corner, and he just dances into the end zone. Easy. Made it look easy, did Cooper Frisk. 11-yard run. And I just wanted to share it with you. 2nd and goal. Handoff, Reitzel up the middle, breaks through, and he scampers into the end zone. And just like that. 7-yard touchdown. Buckeye low snap, drops back, good protection, airs it out, and easily hits Seaball. Seaball thought he was not pushed out of bounds. He's going to go all the way. 5, touchdown. And I don't see any flags, and I don't see any markers. That looks like a 70-yard touchdown. Motions for Hafner to go out to the left. He's got him in the flat. There's a whole jailbreak. He somehow gets away. He's going to throw it downfield, and he gets it to number 11. He's going to take it to the house. Wow. Wow. Credit Cooper Frisk. Logan Van Even is the recipient, and wow, 60-yard touchdown pass. That was impressive. He was able to take down Frisk. Frisk in his end zone, pressured. He is going to be sacked for a safety. And that is how the last possession for the Blue Jays will most likely end. So that takes the score to 51-35.
Well, good Monday morning to everybody, and welcome to Upon Further Review, where we review last week's games. We talk about this week's games, crown a player of the week, and also some honorable mentions, maybe even some bold predictions here. And we're going to get things started right away. We're going to bring in our panel here, Matt Bates in the middle there, and Jeff Whitener over to the far right. Jeff, I'll start with you, my friend. It's been a long weekend.
Been a long weekend. A lot of great individual performances the last week of the season. We saw from several players putting up some pretty gaudy numbers. Some against very stiff competition. Some against some non-conference also ran type competition. But an exciting week of football nonetheless, fellas.
Matthew Bates, how you doing?
Again, cool as the other side of the pillow, my friend. Another great week of football. And I'll ask you guys, did this thing just seem to get wings and just fly by as we're now talking about the results of week 9 and first round districts come? I mean, this is pretty soon it's going to be Christmas and we're just going to wonder where the heck the year went, much less just the whole football season too. This is crazy, but yeah, I'm jazzed. Let's go.
Here we go. Let's go. Here we go. Here's our week 9 scores. Buzz through these as quickly as possible here. Poplar Bluff defeats Hillsboro 36-28. St. Vincent 51, Jefferson 35, Crystal City 40, Grandview 33, Jackson 43, Festus 7. Windsor defeats Bayless 24-8. DeSoto beats Herculaneum 43-6. North County 35, Sullivan 8. Perryville 38, Cuba 14, Valley Catholic 47, St. Pius X 20, Eureka 63, Pattonville 28, Ladue gets defeated by Fox 27-10, Seckman beats Webster Groves 28-0, and Northwest edges out Oakville 31-27. St. Vincent defeats Jefferson 51-35, and Jeff was at that game, so I'm going to start with Jeff on this one.
Well, Ray, you were there too, so you can add your comments here as well when I'm done. As far as Jefferson went, with the number of players that they had out of the lineup, I thought perhaps this was their finest performance as a team this season. And you say, Jeff, well, they gave up 51 points. How could you say that? But when you watch the game, and go back and rewatch the game as I have several times, that game was probably much closer for a much longer period of time than you may have thought in looking at the final score. And Jefferson came out with an excellent game plan. Kudos to Coach Atley and his staff. They were able to really play into their strengths and really execute well against St. Vincent. Had St. Vincent back on their heels for a long time. If it weren't for some, trickery onside kick by St. Vincent there in the second half to get the ball back, you put another score on the board. It could have been a different outcome. You could say that about every game, of course, but I think Jefferson going into the districts has plenty to be happy. Cooper Frisk, quarterback, the junior, he was 18 for 218 yards and 3 touchdowns rushing, 9 for 18 passing for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. That puts him in the final week of the regular season over 1,000 yards for rushing and 1,000 yards for passing on the season, which is something I don't think has ever been done in the school's history. So kudos to Cooper Frisk for that. Great game with the exception of a few drop passes by his receiving corps. So Jefferson loses the game to number 1 ranked St. Vincent in Class 1, but I think they can hold their heads high after that one, Ray.
Yeah, I mean, I think the same. We were both, Scotty and I both were pretty surprised at how, because last week you had St. Gen and they played a real good first half as well, and so you're taking a look at kind of the same thing as last week, but only difference was, I was going through the tape, we were doing the editing, and I believe it was 28-28 about to end of the third quarter. So there was a ton of points scored in that fourth quarter to really kind of make that look lopsided. But same here on Coach Atley's game plan. He had a great game plan. Actually, if I remember right, they scored right before halftime and was actually leading at halftime by a touchdown. So it was a real surprising, well put together game. Just the unfortunate part, I made a couple comments late. Second half there, I felt like St. Vincent was throwing the ball too much because they almost became predictable. But who am I? I'm just the guy that's behind the mic sometimes. But it's they knew something. They definitely knew something there and was able to convert a few extra times, and those were the times that were needed to score all those points. So kudos to St. Vincent, and they win the. Did they win the Quad Counties Conference? Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
There you go. So kudos to them.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we welcome you into J.J. Comerford Stadium here in beautiful Crystal City, Missouri, where the Hornets are going to play host to the Grandview Eagles. Drake Beekman along with Matt Bates here tonight. Matt, season coming to an end, final regular season game, getting ready for the playoffs. We got a tale as old as time in Grandview and Crystal City facing off.
I look forward to this contest, and when I found out that it was on the schedule, I know Coach Kimenall over there is going to have a good plan for us, and we're going to have to play some of our best football. We know that going in, but we know that we can hopefully match the intensity and give a good game. And we know we have stuff riding on this. This is senior night. We talked earlier in the week about telling our kids, we want to go out and give those seniors a good opportunity in the year.
By Walker brings up a first down, so 1st and 10 from the 11. Kime makeshift in motion. That's going to be Martin keeping his own number. Give him 6. Nope, they're going to give that to Brock Poole. So that'll be Pastrana and Kuchera in the backfield. They're going to give it to Ricardo Pastrana. Give him 6. That'll be Evan Wolf and Patton nearest us. Back goes Eisenbice again. Has a man in his face. Has Wolf. He give him 6. 36-yard TD pass. 95 seconds and counting here to go in quarter number 1. Hand off to Walker. He's going to break to the outside. He's going to go over 1 and give him 6. Just breaks out of the tackle of Evan Wolf and into the end zone. In the backfield, 2 wide receivers up to the far side of the field. That's where Eisenbice is going to go to. Has his man all alone. Give him 6. Evan Wolf, once again, a 29-yard TD strike. So there'll be Eisenbice under center. He's going to drop back. He's going to go to the other side of the field. Has his man over the 50. DeRoos to the 45, 40, 35, 25, 20. Give him 6. 58-yard TD pass. Right here on the 40-yard line nearest us. Everybody else is on the complete other side of the field, playing over on that hash mark. Martin, inside handoff to the 35, down to the 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Give him 6 for the big man, Isaac Walker. 40-yard TD run. Here we go, 4th and 8 from the 15-yard line. Kime's going to go in motion. We're going to toss it to him. Kime's going to look to throw it to the end zone, and that is going to go out of the hands. Can you believe it? It is going to go out of the hands of number 20, Skylar Fowler, and it's going to land right into the hands of the other Skylar Melton. Us one more up top, 2 in the backfield. Ice is going to go in the one-on-one coverage right here. Has Patton, who has the ball. I haven't seen the ball hit the turf, and that is a touchdown. Give him 6. As Patton rips the ball out of the hand of Christian Volner in the end zone. Drake Beekman back here with you for the final 5.5. Walker hit. Ball is stolen by Kuchera. He picks it up. He could go. Give him 6. 46-yard fumble return. by Alex Kuchera. Changed out of the formation. Martin, he's going to drop back. Has his man right over. That's Brock Poole. Take it to the house, to the 5. Give him 6. Oh, doctor, here we go. Poole. And that will do it as 25 seconds are left to tick off the clock. And so the final score will be Crystal City 40, Grandview 33. Great job by Grandview to come back, claw their way back into this game.
Moving on to the Grandview Crystal City game. Matt Bates was out at that particular game. We're going to give you the floor for this particular one.
Well, I tell you what, this was just some tough sledding for both teams. It was punch in the face. Big game by Isaac Walker once again. 18 carries, 185. Fumble recovery, 6 tackles. Kime leading the defense with 14 tackles. Grandview with the loss goes to 4-5. Crystal City with the win goes to 4-5 as well. So great job by the Hornets and by the collective unit. Rico Pastrana doing his thing, 19 carries, $105. But the day that Nolan Eisenbeis had, Ice chatting with him before the game, he was just dropping passes in, and I just said, "You feeling good tonight?" He was like, "Probably week 9 best I've felt in a long time," and he was just dropping them in, had the touch, and then to see him go 10 for 11. So I mean, a night where he goes over 90% completion, tosses 250, 4 TDs, no picks. He was pretty much spot on, accurate as advertised beforehand. My goodness, you look at the night that Wolf had, Evan Wolf, four catches, $115, and Landon DeRoos, 3 catches for 100 yards. So I mean, it was big numbers in small packages. And on defense, Wolf had 3 picks and 3 tackles. So there was a number of kids that on that Hornets team that stuck their head in there. And I guess when you talk about, like we had the other week with Northwest, a complete team win, this is pretty much what Crystal City did up and down. And for those that watch the game, and we see it week in, week out, special teams, snapbacks to the punter, just the snap on an extra point, something like that, not being able to convert. A lot of points, can be left on the table. And as they say, as you advance through districts and you start playing tougher teams, that quality of opponent, you leave 4 or 5 points on the table. And if you wind up losing by 3, well, there you go. So, limit the mental mistakes. But once again, great job by Coach Sims and the crew on the Hornets side to bring home the win in week 9. And again, two small rosters that at least I know I talk week in, week out. I didn't think there was going to be a gas tank deep enough for both these teams to make it to week 9. And when you see guys like Pastrana smiling on the sidelines in week 9, and you're just like, where's this coming from? Coach Sims talking about the buy-in from the kids, and that was just, it was just great to see. So I was glad to be a part of it. And Grandview Crystal, that shaped up to everything it was supposed to be for a week 9 contest.
Jeffrey.
Yeah, you gotta love small school football on a Friday night, man. There's something really magical about it when you've got these small rosters, these kids playing both ways, as you said, and as you gentlemen, as you can attest, being old footballers like me, these young men playing both ways right now are in the best shape of their lives. They'll never be in this great a shape ever again. At least from a cardiovascular standpoint.
Yeah, outside of going into military, if you're gonna, just keep this same path, you're as good as you're gonna be. And I got to tell you right now, I don't know if anybody caught the hit that I believe that was DeRoos put on Isaac Walker when he fumbled late in the game. And I looked at Drake and I said, I don't care if that's class 6, that's class 1. I said that big man got popped right in the face, and the ball just drops. And I'm like, that ain't often you see a big boy like that at any class just takes one right in a kisser, and I think he just got caught off guard. And Drake and I the whole night, we were just like, this is just really good football up and down, and it was just, it was a fun game to be a part of.
Well, you mentioned Isaac Walker and Matt, being an old lineman like me yourself, how can you not love the kid that goes from the line to the fullback, I guess, position, and you watch him rumble and drag guys all year long. You can't help but root for the guy.
Yeah, and kicking as well too. There isn't a whole lot. Again, as Ray would say, like driving the team bus. Outside of that, there isn't much else that he hasn't done for the team right now. And that's a great weapon to have. And a little side note: before the game, there was a player carted off in pregame for Grandview, and we were looking up and down the roster because we thought it was because when he unloaded the stretcher, we thought it was for like a J-pad thing, was doing something for kids, maybe for like an internship, something like that, because they were like right on the track, right down in front of the booth. And and we were just like, what's going on? Because at Crystal, you don't have really the benefit of locker rooms to go to, so everybody's at their respective ends of the end zone. Well, all of a sudden this stretcher goes across the field to Grandview side, and I'm like, well, they can't afford to lose another player. What's this all about? And well, anyway, short story long, I asked Drake if he could see a number, and he thought it ended in a 3. Well, there's only like 3 players on the team, and one of them being Brendan Martin, their quarterback. And then one of the other ones was 53, which is Rivera, who's the center who replaced Walker. So we couldn't get a name or a number, but we were just hoping that, it wasn't somebody in the starting lineup to, have Coach Kemanaugh have a tougher job on his hands than what he's got already. But I was just saying that was just something that flew under the radar that really, unless you were there, at the game, that kind of created a little a tense moment before kickoff. So little nugget to drop in there. So I hope whoever that was injured is able to recover for districts coming up.
Absolutely.
Well, good evening and welcome to Friday Night Blitz on Livestream STL. We are here at Hillsboro High School in Hillsboro, Missouri, where the home Hawks will be hosting the Poplar Bluff Mules. Brian Kaplinger alongside Judah Hallbrook, who's manning the camera tonight. We just want to kind of get you going here as the 4-4 Hawks again will be hosting the 3-5 Poplar Bluff Mules.
Really talented quarterback, kid, a really good football player, throws the ball well, runs the ball well. I told our kids, expect a physical game. They beat Chaminade week 2, 14-12. I know they've had a couple kids get injured that haven't been playing for them. So I think that's kind of maybe hurt them a little bit, just kind of like same thing for us. But we expect a good football team. They play in a tough conference down there. Playing Cape Central and Jackson every year. Those are 2 teams that a lot of people are going to struggle to beat this year. So their record's right around what ours is. And they've lost to some good football teams and been in some good games. They lost to West Plains in overtime 2 weeks ago. So we know we have our hands full. We got to come ready to play.
Frizzell is going to hand it off to Duncan, who's going to kind of push the pile forward. And this time they are in. So give Duncan the touchdown. And Hillsboro takes the early 6-0 lead in the backfield. Again, going to hand it off to Dunk. No, I take that back. That is number 5, Braxton Frizzell. Going to get that one as the up back, and he's going to go into the end zone for a Hillsboro Hawks touchdown. Here with 4:30 remaining in the second, they're going to hand off to Ferguson. He's got no one in front of him. He's going to beat him to the corner. Touchdown, Mules, as they answer quickly. Nearly no time off the clock as he's been trying to catch him down the sideline. And another shot down the field. This time Clifford is wide open. Hunter Clifford going to get this one's going to take it to the house. A 42-yard touchdown pass for the Mules. I don't see any flags on the play, so this one will stand. I believe it is Austin Ross on the hold. Snap is good, kick is up. And it is good as time expires in the first half. And so the Hillsboro Hawks on the field goal from Caleb Arnold is able to take the 15-14 lead as we head to the break. And so it's been a flurry of action and reclaim the lead. Looking to take a shot on first down. He throws it into the corner of the end zone. This one's going to be caught. That is going to be number 12. That is Derek Burton. A little bit of extra talking at the end. We'll see if a flag's being thrown. But as of now, it is a touchdown strike from Edmondson to Burton. So Ferguson back in. They're going to give him a shot at it. He lunges forward, and he's going to be in for the touchdown on third down. So the 1-yard touchdown run is going to extend the lead. As they're going to kind of shovel pass this one up to Ferguson. He makes a lunging dive for the end zone. He's going to get it for his third touchdown of the day. Devin Ferguson diving in from 5 yards out is going to... Again, Chazelle being pressured. He gets out of the pocket, finds his receiver wide open in the back of the end zone. And Carson Campbell is going to get the touchdown reception right there, 10-yard variety. Chazelle going to find Phillips. He's going to fight and into the end zone. Touchdown, Hawks. And they have closed to a bit closer here. 36-27 as it's Hail Mary time for the Hawks. He's going to scramble out, has to set his feet, throws it as far as he can. The ball is going to be batted, tipped in the air, and hits the turf as time expires. And so the Mules are going to get away with a win here, picking up their 4th win as they hold off the Hawks, who tried to make a valiant effort in comeback, but to no avail. As our final score here, Poplar Bluff 36, Hillsboro 28.
We're going to talk about this Poplar Bluff Hillsboro game, and kind of see where things are at with all of that. So,
All right. Well, to me, this was a tale of two halves. That nobody is sending congratulatory and applauding cards to Coach Saharsky and their tough non-conference schedule that they had this year. I don't know how many people had, or the pundits, as they say, had them going 4-5 on the year. But this was a classic game of a tale of two halves. The first half, you saw sustained drives. Hillsboro controlled pretty much all the aspects: the clock, the ball, the scoreboard. And then that halftime thing that I talk about happened, and then it just became the PB aerial assault, and the PB in the form of Poplar Bluff. They just started tossing the ball at will, and they were just putting points up left and right on a Hillsboro team. And at the end, it got close because there was a late touchdown, because it was 36-22. The late TD made it 36-28. Then you get the onside kick, and at the end of the day, I guess that's where you want to be to be able to try to get the ball for a final possession. But just a lot of other things like clock and scoreboard weren't on their side. Great day by Duncan, 10 for 104. Chazelle stepping in at QB, 17 of 23 for $174, couple TDs. Great job by Larkin, 8 tackles on defense, Jeff.
Yeah, in looking at this game in the past couple of weeks, I've been impressed with Braxton Chazelle being able to step in and ably fill in some very, very large shoes with Mr. Brown out of the lineup over there. I think it's important, too, to say, despite Poplar Bluff's record, a larger school, Class 5 school, and they had a pretty tough record, a pretty tough schedule this year. So, records can be deceiving a little bit. Poplar Bluff is a pretty good team. So, It's not like it's a major upset or surprise that Hillsborough lost this game at home with the injuries that they have, but some good individual performances by the Hawks just coming up short. And hopefully they can get a little healthier by district playoff time this Friday.
Let's move on to some other games here real quick, and I'll just give you guys the pick of the litter. Go ahead there, Matt.
I like the way Windsor finishes strong with their win over Bayless. And again, I think as Jeff says too, that, that this is a Bayless team that, at 2-7 now, it's really like a smoke and mirrors kind of thing because, for another week, Marvin Jones was held in check, but this is a guy that, at any given week, he can bust out 200 rushing on you. But you look at the job Freeman did calling for Windsor again, another week of 53 rushes. WC3, Willie Coleman III, 30 rushes for $176. And then you look at Logan Wilson, 16 for 121. And I guess this is where I would have our little, upon further review, trivia for you gentlemen. That can you name the team that has a rusher that has more rushing yards than Trevor Kodak in our area? And that same team has 13 yards short of being the only team in our area to have 2,000-yard rushers. That would be, yes, that answer is the Windsor Owls.
Yep. That doesn't surprise me at all, Matt. That is a Lee Freeman team. He's got his stamp all over that. You've had two guys close, having 1,000 yards, that double-barreled assault that he likes to run. That game, 3 passes were attempted in that game by Windsor, all incomplete. So everything was done on the ground in that one. I do want to mention, though, Bayless's Jalen Williams, the young man from Hancock that they play with Bayless, 14 total tackles, 9 solo in that game. So a little helmet sticker for him there.
Well, when you're running the ball 55 times, there's going to be a lot of helmet stickers to go around. Another game of note before we move on, I think would be the big win by DeSoto to get to 5 wins and everything that was on the table with that. That again, you hear the interviews we have with Coach Rush Schmidt week in, week out, talks about the buy-in, not just from the players, but from the community as well. And, when you see something like what Eli Tebow's father did and some of the other dads on the team, basically, you had, Papa Tebow's beard was on the line to get shaved. Other parents bought in. There was, parents getting heads shaved and all kinds of other stuff. That been a long time since a DeSoto program not only was above 500, but had a 5-win season. So something great for those bleeding green down there in D-Town to hang their hats on.
Well, and likewise, Matt, with the Northwest Lions, the season that they've been able to pull off with Coach Gerling and what he's been doing over there to sort of, I hate to use that phrase, change the culture, change the attitudes, but it has showed up. He's been able to put his best players, especially his skill position players, in the best position to be successful and win. Cohen Stark, 13 for 23 in that game, but 221 yards and 2 TDs at quarterback for the Lions. He also rushed for 86 yards on 18 carries, but also some good individual performances in that game from Oakville too. Aiden Malachik, 26 for 140 yards. Max Bradley, the quarterback, 16 for 26 for 266 yards and a touchdown on his own. But Oakville comes up a little short. And that game has big implications, as we'll talk about very soon here on the show.
Yeah, Jeff. I mean, you talk about that Oakville team. They were up 17-14 at half. And as Ray mentioned, if you listen to our, post-game show on Friday when Coach Gerling called in, I know you hate to use that phrase, Jeff, but you know what? But if it rings true, as they say, it is what it is. You get that buy-in and, again, when you can develop that winning culture, that's what it takes. And, all it takes is a win or two to where, now, you went from a team that was trying, as we talked about Bishop DeBerg last year for a couple of years, you're talking about trying to put productive plays together to build off of to get to just building on productive quarters. When you can get a team that can start putting quarters and wins together, that says a lot. And especially when you can carry that back to the locker room and everybody's got something to talk about. And whenever they leave that game that night, everybody can look to each other as a man, left to right of you. And we all know we gave our best effort. And one of them being like Wes Knuckles and that knuckle sandwich with the 3 for 95, a kickoff return, an INT, and a tackle. So, it's not always going to be Drew Spratt or Cohen Stark, but, again, you got those pieces to plug in and off they go.
Absolutely. And before we get off the week 9 games, guys, I guess the team helmet stickers for everybody on the Seckman Jaguars, finishing the season unbeaten, defeating Webster Groves 28-0. And really, guys, it seems like the last few weeks the Jags have kind of flown under the radar. We haven't talked about it much. They've won convincingly, but it's been kind of a whole home quiet type of deal. And that signals to me that those guys they're strapped in. They've got the hard hats on, and they're kind of being a little low key, and they realize they have a job to do in the postseason here. And as we'll see in a minute, they might be on a collision course with Jackson this year, that Class 6.
Well, Jeff, like I mentioned last week, I don't know how much of that has to do with the fact that Seckman, flying under the radar. They've only beaten one team that has a winning record this year, and that was way back in week 1. That even though the record was 0-0, that's the only team that has finished with more than 5 wins on the season. So this is one of these things like, how battle tested are they? When playoffs roll around, there's something to be said about being healthy and not losing players as well too. But you get you get a knuckle buster on your schedule, and maybe, but I think that's part of the reason why they've flown under the radar. But again, you play the teams that are on your schedule, and you do what you got to do. But hopefully they are battle tested and can be ready for a potential showdown once again with Jack.
It is time for our Upon Further Review Player of the Week. We have Nolan Eisenbeis from the Crystal City Hornets on the line here. Nolan, how you doing, sir?
Pretty good. How about you?
Great. Hey, man, you had a heck of a game there against Grandview this week. There, we have you 10 of 11, 250 yards, 4 touchdowns. Man, what a game! And tell us a little bit about the game. Your thoughts on it.
Going into it, our district was really close, so we knew we had to. It was a must-win, really. So, the locker room knew that, and they all played as hard as we could, really.
Absolutely, and going into that particular game, you guys knew that there was a lot riding. Obviously, you just talked about that, but talk to us a little bit about the season here. We interviewed Coach Sims, I guess it was about a week or two before football season started, and you guys had like 15 players, and that's not even enough to scrimmage, So you gain a few more here, and I think you guys have stayed fairly healthy. There's a lot of folks that wrote you off, early in the season that you weren't even going to finish the season, as a team. So, what has that been like this year? Give us maybe the progression, or what coach has been talking about week to week, or how has the team handled that going into this season?
Yeah, we hear all the noise. Everyone, inside the school and outside the school, everyone's talking about us. It's not very positive, but we hear it, but we block it out and we do our thing. Coaches, they keep our heads right, and we know that, no one's going to help us out, so we got to go and do it ourselves.
Yeah, I get it. Now, we were talking a little bit before here. You were thinking about going to college. What's your plans there?
Yeah, I'm fortunate enough to have the opportunity to go play college baseball, but I'm not sure yet if that's the right idea for me or not. But I'm fortunate enough to have the opportunity.
Oh, there you go. Well, at least there's an offer on the table, so that's good. Good for you. Well, you are our Player of the Week. Congratulations. I know you get the week off this week, get a nice little rest, and get yourself, you guys geared up for the district competition here in a couple weeks. So good luck to you along the way here.
All right. Thank you.
That's Nolan Eisenbeis from the Crystal City Hornets. It is now time for our honorable mention segment, and they are as follows. Lots of folks to choose from this week. Northwest Cohen Stark, 13 of 23 passing for 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he also had a rushing touchdown. Trevor Kodak from Eureka, 21 rushes, 321 yards, 5 touchdowns. Not a bad day at the office again for Mr. Kodak. Seckman has 2 there. Brady Ambrose, quarterback there, 18 rushes, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now you say, well, that's a quarterback rushing 18 times. Yeah, they run the Wildcat over there, so he gets a lot of touches there. Ben Lewis also 9 rushes, 102 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then rounding things out, we always talk about Cooper Frisk, but man, he had a heck of a game even against the number 1 ranked team in the nation or the state there. 10 of 18 passing, 164 yards, 2 touchdowns, 18 rushes, 218 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a partridge in a pear tree. So, guys, lots to talk about. Matt, we'll start with you on these honorable mentions.
I don't think you could really go wrong on any of that. Again, a lot of, and we never really chatted about the Eureka game. But when you look at the numbers that Trevor Kodak had put up once again in a week 9 game to get ready for, district play, he, touching the ball over 20 plus times, racing up and down the carpet for 320 plus. It's funny. Sometimes we go week in, week out where we might have, like I think last week or 2 weeks ago, it was, relatively all the small schools. Now you got a nice mix of larger schools, smaller schools, and you look at the quality opponent that, Jefferson had in St. Vincent as well, too. Great job by Coop. Great job by Stark once again. And looking up and down, it's a nice mix of quarterbacks, running backs as well, too. And so I don't think there was a wrong answer anywhere up on that board, Jeff.
No, not at all. I mean, it's obviously it's very easy for us to pick out the skill position players week in, week out. It's very difficult. You'd have to watch a lot of game to go back and evaluate, aside from tackling, the defensive side of the ball or line play. But I do want to give a shout out to Boston Trillian of St. Vincent, the big 6'3", 240-pound nose man, and or what do they call that? A zero tech now on defense, I believe, Matt. And he also plays left tackle for the Indians. That guy's a beast. He's going to get some D1 offers, and he had a pretty dominating game against the Blue Jays.
It is now time to take a look at our Week 10 schedule. Yes, we are at Week 10. I'm going to buzz through these. Now, I have the Livestream STL logo by these 3 games. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get these 3 games because we are still working through getting permissions through Misha and whatnot. So we're making sure that we can get that first. If that doesn't come through, we will have to take some of them off. So our apologies. So we are planning on being out at Jefferson High School. They're going to host Priory. We plan on being out at Hillsborough High School. They host Sykeston. And we plan on being out at Northwest High School as they host Oakville. Other games, Herculaneum is at St. Genevieve. Grandview is at St. Pius X. DeSoto is at North County. Windsor at Perryville. Fox is at Lindbergh. Parkway South travels to Rockwood Summit, and Parkway Central takes on Lafayette. And you see the 4 bye teams there: Festus, Crystal City, Seckman, and Eureka. And what we're going to do is we've got the brackets for each one of these districts. So we're going to start here. We've got 8 different slides here, so hopefully we can buzz through these real quick. But taking a look at Class 1, District 1, St. Vincent on top up there, you see Crystal City at the number 2 spot. So everybody on that second line there, they get to bye. There's only 1 game in that particular district there. Veritas Christian Academy in Louisiana, they are the 8 and 9 seed, but you see the teams that are involved from our area here: St. Vincent at number 1, Crystal City at number 2, and that will be an interesting, could be a very, very interesting bracket there, guys. Let's go with Jeff.
Well, yeah, that particular class 1, District 1 there has what I would call that a buy-in game with Christian Academy 8 and Louisiana 9. You know, that's or not the buy-in, a play-in, pardon me, use the correct phrase. But I'm more interested if Crystal City can get by Malden, they're going to have the winner of Charleston and Chaffee, the 3 versus 6. So if you're going to get a Crystal City and a Charleston game in in the second week there on November 15th, that could be quite the battle, guys. Looking forward to seeing how that comes down. But
yeah, you literally took the words right out of my mouth, Jeff. I was thinking the same thing. I saw that bracket last year, and that just seemed like with everybody except like 2 teams having a week off. Yeah, it just seemed like it was a play-in game for the one that opening round, and to see so many teams that got a bye week and the way that worked out, then seeing it again this year, I say, another week to get, I'm sure Coach Sims is just, he couldn't be more ecstatic about it because you get players that can get healthy, get back at it. But yeah, I mean, if you look at a Crystal City Charleston and then, potentially shaking up with a Crystal City St. Vincent, I'm ready to buckle up and enjoy this Class 1 round.
There you go.
It's going to be fun.
Our next round here is Class 2, District 2, and teams that, three teams, I should say, going to be involved here from around the area here. Herman's the number 1 seed, but number 2 seed Bowling Green, number 3 seed Jefferson, number 4 seed St. Pius X, number 5 seed Grandview. So 3 Jefferson County teams right there. 6 seed is Priory, 7 seed is Montgomery County. And again, our game here, Jefferson at Priory, should be a fun one there. Priory down a little bit this season, but, hey, it's district time. Anybody can win at any time there, guys.
I'll defer to Jeff on this one real quick because I don't know enough about Priory. And I'm sure you've probably dove in a little bit more to them with that matchup against Jefferson.
Well, they played the Ravens. Jefferson did in the first week of the season at Priory, so it'll be different having them at home this year. They won. It was kind of a sloppy game one, week 1 type of game. A lot of mistakes by both teams. Obviously, we're 10 weeks into the season now, so you shouldn't have the same type of plays. I see Jefferson being able to take care of business at home, even with the injuries. And Bowling Green shouldn't have any problem with Montgomery County in that first week. So Jefferson in November 8th would then have to travel to Bowling Green. St. Pius and Grandview.
Yes.
We just don't know, unfortunately, enough about St. Pius this year. But having that game at Pius, you have to gotta give them the home field advantage there. But then they've got to face a pretty darn good Herman team. Now, and the dream scenario here for me in this bracket, you would have St. Pius versus Jefferson for the district title. But it's going to be a tough road to navigate for both of those teams to get to that final game. Herman's still the favorite. Herman and Bowling Green. This bracket is seeded very accurately as far as the quality of teams, in my opinion.
I would like to see a Battle of the Birds matchup, Jeff. You get the Blue Jays and the Eagles there at Grandview to line up and pad up. Get to see some of that bigger boy football again. Isaac Walker padding back up. So I know it's going to be a road game, but don't sleep on the Eagles.
Well, yeah, I don't think Jefferson wants to face Grandview again. It was tough enough having to play them at Grandview. Grandview always rises to the occasion and plays the Blue Jays tough these last few years. So I don't think they want Grandview again if they can help it.
All right, moving on here. Class 3, District 1. Teams Dexter is the number 1 seed there. Park Hill Central, number 2. St. Genevieve, number 3. Fredericktown, number 4. 5 is Potosi. 6 is Herculaneum. And 7 is Kennett. Let's start with Jeff.
Well, Herculaneum gets the seed over Kennett. The one victory to their credit there. Kennett, very down season for them this year. They've got some speed and some really good special teams special players, but their line is their biggest weakness. But I live in Herculaneum. You guys went to Herky. I just can't see them getting past St. Genevieve this week. It's going to be a really tough way to go for them to go down to St. John County and try to beat the Dragons, fellas. I looking at this bracket, Park Hill Central, it's a down year for them, but this is going to be Dexter and Park Hill Central in the final. You can take that one to the bank.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think Herky would have much of a chance, 3 weeks ago. But now, when you see the shenanigans that's happened with their decimated roster, I mean, it's just going to be a compounding of a problem. And yeah, I think this is just going to be a short, sweet, and off we go to the next bracket.
And we will. Off we go to the next bracket. This is Class 3, District 5. Stratford, the number 1 seed. Number 2 is Mount Vernon. 3 is Mountain Grove. You see Cuba there at 4. 5, St. James. 6 is Salem. And 7 is Buffalo. So I don't know a lot about Cuba other than we've been told throughout the season they've got some big boys over there.
A physical play. Got to see them play a couple different times, guys. Cuba should, if all goes well at home, beat St. James. But of course, then you've got Stratford, and Stratford is a powerhouse in this district. They're going to have a tough road to hoe there November 8th against Stratford. I really look at this bracket. Any of the top 3 teams could win this district. And District 5, Stratford, Mount Vernon, or Mountain Grove. And I'm going to pick the upset here. I think Mountain Grove is capable of beating Mount Vernon and facing Stratford in the final November 15th. But Cuba should get at least one good home victory in this bracket this Friday at home against St. James.
Would be nice to get some stats on these guys at 2.5 hours away. I mean, it's a long distance to take and run some string and 2 coffee cans to communicate with them. And so I'll take whatever Jeff said and defer to that.
That's why we have the Pony Express.
That's right.
That's right. So
Snail
there you
mail.
go. All right. There you go. All right. Moving on. Class 4, District 1, the number 1 seed. Who gets the bye here? Festus Tigers. Number 2 is Perryville. Surprisingly, they're having a great season there. The Perryville Pirates are. 3 is Hillsboro. 4 is North County. 5 is DeSoto. 6 is Sykeston, and 7 is Windsor. And let's start with Matthew.
Well, I think really all 3 of those matchups are really strong, given the way that when you can sneak a DeSoto in there like at a 5 and a Windsor at a 4. Come on now. These were teams where, just how recently, it was kind of like the Herky mentality where you just got in because they needed a spot to fill. Now, not so much. I'm liking that Windsor North County game because I think that's another matchup again where I think Windsor's learned some things. And I don't know if North County's going to be able to control another 55 rushes.
Matt, that's DeSoto at North County.
Oh, DeSoto, North County. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying
DeSoto,
to make
North
notes.
County. Windsor's at Perryville.
Going to be big boy football up and down in that bracket either way. And I like don't be surprised if there is an upset, but also don't be surprised if there's a blowout. But I think trying to stop Wheeler and Perryville, that's going to be a tough problem. But, if DeSoto can figure out a way to stay on the field longer and limit that offense, same way with Windsor. Running 55 times a game in the last 4, out of 5 games, you're going to have you're going to set yourself up to be in a winning performance. So I like to see what happens in this District 4 bracket here, or Class 4 bracket.
Yeah, I agree, Matt. I think that of all of the districts, this one has the best matchups in week 1. I think DeSoto going to North County, both of these teams are kind of peaking right now. Obviously, we don't know enough about North County either. They're another I like to call a Fort Knox team when it comes to stats and things of that nature. But DeSoto, I would not be surprised if they were able to go in and play North County very tough. And Windsor Perryville, that matchup is really interesting to me because this game Windsor's strengths will play into this game. If they can control the ball and keep keep Lucky in the offense for Perryville off the field as much as possible, and force Perryville to put it in the air a lot, Windsor got a really decent shot at upsetting the Pirates in that game.
That's why I said don't sleep on them. I mean,
Right.
if they can control the ball, the clock, and the scoreboard, that is going to be a tough day for the Pirates. But once again, though, I would have to say we still need to tip our hat to that program. 8 wins on a season for a Perryville team. That's in that same boat with your DeSoto's getting 5 and your Northwest's getting 5. That great job by coach down there to get them to an 8-1 season.
Absolutely. Moving on here, our Class 4 District 2. You see Gateway at number 1. Number 2 is Sullivan. Number 3 is Pacific. Number 4 is Union. Number 5 is Roosevelt. Number 6 is your Bayless and Hancock team there. And 7 is Afton. Don't know a ton about Bayless other than they have that they've got a good running back there that definitely hauls the mail for them throughout the season here. But Jeff knows a little bit about those guys.
Yeah, Marvin Jones there for Bayless. Obviously, he's a dynamic runner, but if you focus on stopping him, your teams have found that they're able to slow down that offense quite a bit. Just Matt, looking at this bracket, this is the craziest bracket put together. You've got teams from the inner city of St. Louis. You have a team from Pacific, Sullivan, out in Union. Then you've got a county school with Bayless / Hancock, and then back to the city with Roosevelt. This bracket's all over the place. So when it comes to travel miles, this might be one of the highest mileage brackets of all. But Sullivan's a strong team. I think Sullivan at number 2 is more than capable of winning this district and beating Gateway. Gateway's been a Jekyll and Hyde team, in my opinion, this year. They've got some great players, but I think Sullivan can, if they step up, I think that they can go quite a long way. But you can't count Pacific out either. Bayless, at this point, they know this will probably be their final game of the season, and it's all about going out with a bang if you're a senior, and if you're not a senior, it's about playing as the best you can to try to win those positions for next season.
Well, I'm with you there to a point, Mr. Jeff, that I think this might be the win in week 1 for Bayless, taking care of Afton. They can't seem to fight their way out of a wet paper bag at the moment. But
they've got Bayless has Pacific, Matt.
Oh, Pacific. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yep. Well, there goes that.
They're going to run into some Indians there from Pacific.
All right. Let's make sure I got the right one here for our next one here. Yes. Class 5 District 2, the Eureka Wildcats on top, 9-0. The number 2 seed is going to be playing 7 seed here. Lafayette plays Parkway Central, and then the number 3 seed Rockwood Summit plays Parkway South. 4 seed Washington plays Parkway West. So you've got all the Parkways in there, Washington and Eureka basically, along with Lafayette and Rockwood Summit. Yeah, I mean, this to me is Eureka's district to lose, unfortunately. I mean, there's been a lot of dominance. We have seen a real well played game between them and Lafayette already. But this time around, it would have, if that ends up happening, that will end up happening at Eureka and not Lafayette. So, that gives definitely an advantage down there to Eureka, I believe there. What do you think there, Matt?
I really don't think there's many teams that can really hold a stick or a candle to Eureka at this point in time. That Having already covered that Northwest Parkway Central game, seeing Parkway Central, they'll probably get dispatched right there. Washington might give them maybe a fit, but I really, again, when you can give a team like a Eureka, who hasn't really had much in the way of injuries, because I mean this was a team that Caps was talking about, where having Hutchcraft in there like 2 weeks ago to give Holbelman some time off. Because this wasn't somebody taking it off because of an injury, this was just like a health week. So if you're telling me you got like another health week for a whole team like Eureka across the board, good luck. All I can do is just anybody that's going to play Eureka, best of luck to you.
Matt, I think in the NBA they call that a maintenance week or something, don't they?
Yeah, tidying up. Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, to me, the best scenario matchup, the best game out of this bracket could be in week 2, November 8th, if Lafayette and Rockwood Summit match up. That game 2 versus 3 at Lafayette, that could provide some fireworks in that game. Both teams have that high-powered aerial assault, and that game could be a track meet. I'm kind of looking forward to see if that plays out. If they can both get to week 2, November 8th, that should be a good one. Eureka at Washington, if Washington makes it through, Washington can do some things, but Eureka can just, when you've got Kodak, I mean, obviously they have an offense that they can go 50-50 run pass, or like the last week, they could just say, here, Trevor, here's the ball, go rush, go take 321 yards, and they can just grind you down. Just like last year, University of Michigan winning the national title, when it comes to the second half and they can just hand the ball off and just grind you and wear you down. And that's what Eureka's best at as well.
Yeah, I mean, because once you go to sleep on their run game and you think that 27 is going to be getting the rock every shot, next thing you know, you got like a Larry Reed moment where next thing you know, Holbelman's tossing it 90 yards to him. And then once you focus on him and the other wide receivers, then you just run ringy right down the middle of the field, and you're able to, connect with a tight end for 60 plus yards. Then, oh, by the way, they do have a kicking game with him where he can bomb them from 30, 35 yards. So, as I always say, once you move north of Jefferson County and you get into anything above there, I mean, the passing games that you don't see a whole lot of in the Jefferson County schools south, yeah, it's aerial assault, it's 4th of July fireworks stuff, and that's why I think we see that Eureka team so well-rounded, which presents itself so well against anybody else in their path at the moment.
Right, man. Just to follow up on that, that's why it's such an amazing stat for me that Cooper Frisk had over 1,000 yards passing this season, because it's not something you normally see out of a Jefferson County team.
Right. Last graphic here, and this is the big boys here. Class 6, District 1 here. Seckman on top, Jackson second. They both get the byes there. You see Northwest hosting Oakville this week, and then Lindbergh will be hosting Fox. So my thoughts, hey, I can't wait for week 2. So I'm sorry, week 3 there. So that will be a fun one. No doubt about it. I think Seckman and Jackson ends up in that district championship. They're two teams that just can't be beat right now at this point, and it'll be a rematch from last season.
Well, going down to the pit last year at Jackson, doing independent coverage for Livestream STL. That's not a place Seckman wants to go to. So with them being the number 1 seed, they should be able to flip the script this year. And I think that would be the biggest benefit to them, to have Jackson make the long road trip up to their house and see if they can stomp a mud hole in them like Jackson did last year. I think that's really the only saving grace, is to not have that game down at Jackson.
Well, I think, in looking at this, though, I think that's going to be a tremendous game. But Jackson presents some problems, both offensively and defensively, for the Jaguars in the matchups, I think. And I think, if they get to week 3 here for the district championship, even though it's at Seckman, That game's a toss-up to me right now. Jackson's been really coming on strong here the last few weeks and peaking, but this first week here, this Northwest hosting the game at Oakville, the whole community over there in the High Ridge area is just really a buzz right now. And we're going to have an opportunity to go over and kind of talk to them tomorrow, guys, a little bit about, all the excitement they have over there, Ray.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got we appreciate the invite from the Northwest Lions as well to come out there and just speak, give some positivity. I mean, there will be some other speakers there as well, but we're just we're happy and just honored to be able to come out there and just give them a little bit of support as they've given us support this year too. So, well, that wraps things up. Go ahead.
Matt Bates waived his appearance fee.
He did.
Yeah, I did.
He did. There you go. Well, that wraps us up here for Upon Further Review. Make sure you check out this week's schedule here. We'll have that up here. We're a little bit late with it right now. We'll probably have it maybe later on tonight or tomorrow, but still making sure we get all these games, confirmed and whatnot. But definitely check us out here. If you haven't downloaded the Roku app there, Livestream STL, search for Livestream STL, download that. You can watch all of the games on TV there for free, and check out our website, livestreamstl.tv. For Matt Bates, for Jeff Whitener, Ray Halbrook, all of us here Upon Further Review. Have a great day. Thanks for watching today's broadcast. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written consent of Livestream STL is strictly prohibited.